Hello friends and welcome to 10 Points Under, where the circle is the shape of champions. This is Big Bullfrog and I'm coming at you today with something a little bit different. Today we're going to be looking through Sir Heroscape's Champion Circle League Qualifier number 2. It's going to be starting up here in just a couple minutes, I believe, maybe even in less, and we're going to take a little bit of a different approach at this today. I'm trying something new. We'll see how it goes. Usually what I've done on these game days is I'll go through, I'll choose a game, and we'll record the game, cast it later with a friend, see how things go, that kind of stuff, that normal thing. However, when I'm watching games, when I get to look at things, like when I get to sideline, I like to flip through multiple games and see, just watch different games, keep tabs on multiple things. And last time I was doing that during the first qualifier, I thought it would be pretty cool to try that, as an approach to game coverage for one of these live tournament events. So we're gonna try that today. I am solo today, so I apologize for this is gonna be 100% my voice today. You can mute it if you want to. You can just mute it and just watch the games. That's totally fine. Since I'm experimenting, we'll try it. We'll see how it goes. If it goes well, maybe we'll try it again. If I'm able to get other people to join in later, maybe we'll try it with them later too. We'll see how it goes, but we're just gonna try out. So, I believe that they'll be starting things up any second now. So you can see we've got the armies here. Let's talk a little bit about this Champion Circle League real quick. This is a thing that Sir Heroscape put together. I'm sure you know of him. This is the second qualifier. So the first one was a few months ago. This one's been delayed by a couple weeks, but it's finally happening today, June 17th. And basically for the format, so it's going to be 410 points, VC rule of 9. Rule of 9 meaning you cannot have more than 9 of any common figure in your army. So if you got, like, for example, 3 squads of Knights of Weston, you'd only be able to play 9 of them. Instead of 12, you'd be dropping 3, which would be kind of a bummer. So they're just trying to limit those things there. Let's see. I'm just looking over in Discord right now. It looks like they're getting started. So one thing that I really enjoy doing with this, also one sec, A+ units bland, so no Raylan, no Q9, no Death Reavers, no Morrow Warriors. And so that's what we're looking at as far as format goes here. Also, another interesting thing, no hex limit and no figure limit. So rule of 9 restricts commons, but you could potentially run just a bunch of stuff if you wanted to. So I'm interested to see how this goes. So one thing that I really enjoy doing, let's see if the first round matchups are up yet. Not quite yet. So I have, like I've said, I've really enjoyed going through these games, and just kind of like going through and seeing what kinds of armies, especially, like I like to look at the armies and see, like, oh, what did people think of? What kind of hype armies do we have? What kind of, repeats do we have? So, like, for example, right here, I'm already noticing Grey Waves and Agbaha both brought the same army right here, right next to each other, which is great. So, like, Marco Essenwein, 3 squads of Morrow Stingers, 3 squads of Phantom Knights. That sounds like a pretty solid army. I know that, I'm going to slow down how I'm talking here. If I try to rush through things this whole time, I'm going to really be, just stumbling all over myself this whole time. So I know that, one concern that I saw when I first saw this format, from a few players, were dragons. Dragon armies are really strong here, right? Nilfheim, 3 squads of Greenscales. That's a very strong core, even without Raylan. With Raylan, it becomes ridiculous. But even without Raylan, that's a very strong core. And so you want to be able to beat those. Morrow Stingers, Phantom Knights, that's a very strong combination. That's good into a lot of things. Another double that I saw down here, Knight of Light has 4th Mass ×2, Knights of Weston ×2, Sir Gilbert Quintella, same as Dashund down here. So that's also very solid, right? Like, you've got 2 squads of 4th, 2 squads of Knights, both very strong armies, or very strong figures. I was brainstorming this a bit. I'm surprised I didn't think of that one. I don't believe that combination occurred to me. In fact, how many dragon armies do we have in here? Varkanens, whoops, also very good. Here's one. So Greenscales ×2. Himmelscrawl and Nilfheim should be fun. Daisol's got a Wildwood army. We'll see how that goes. I know she's excited to see how oppressive they are in this kind of format. 10th and Cathar. Here's one. Nilfheim, Heracles, and Marku. That should be fun. Braxas, Greenscales, Marku. Spiders, Krav, Quahan. Guess what? Chris Perkins brought a Quahan army. What do you know? Greenscales ×2, Nilfheim, Van Nessing. So a good amount of dragon armies. Actually, not as many as I thought there might be, though. So, interesting. All right, looks like they're starting the round here in a second. The time is starting, so we've got a timer up here going. I'd guess that matchups are going to be here in a second. Here we go. All right, looks like Chris got the bye. So Chris already pulling off a win with his Quahan army. Way to go, Chris. Very well done. So what we're going to do is we're going to look through these games and see what sticks out, what games look interesting, what matchups look interesting, and who can we pop in on and just, you know, take a look at. One that's sticking out to me already is Foodzing versus Sir Heroscape. Got to check out that one. So we'll pull that one up. And this is just what I like to do when I'm spectating these tournaments. I like to just pull up, like, you know, up to like 5 in just tabs and just go through them a little bit and see where they're, or I don't know, just check out the games as they're going through. So let's see. We've got to check out Daisol because, you know, Wildwoods. Got to see how those guys do. We got to get Foodzing and Sir Heroscape. Let's see. What armies looked interesting in here? Heracles and Phantom Knights is pretty interesting. That's Moon Knight. Varkanons with Baron Scapius is probably a good one. We should probably check out a dragon army or two. Sheep with Warforged soldiers. You know what? We've got to get sheep, actually. Frazier and soldiers. Interesting. Okay, yeah. Wait, hang on. Does Yeah, because that's soldiers, right? All soldiers get to advance. So, hang on. Where's Sheep's game? Sheep and Dashund. Dashund had the Jandar army, right? I guess we'll see. Oh, and on Ingvild Pass, which is Sheep's map. So we've got to check out this matchup. Let's see. Pouncing Wolves versus Veggie. What's Pouncing Wolves got? Braxas, Greenscales. Oh, a dragon matchup? Sure. Yeah. We should probably pull up that one. This is kind of like how I go through when I'm picking a game to record too. Like if I was just recording one game, I usually try to find like the best matchup and a cool map and all that stuff. One benefit of this though is I get to see a lot of different games, and sometimes matchups fall kind of flat, and sometimes like matchups that I thought would not be that interesting end up being very, very interesting. All right, so we've got 4 games in the background right now. Let's get one more. Let's see. Grey Waves, Cleon. Boop. Jor Loki, Agbaha Raigai. Man. And honestly, a lot of these look really good. Okay, you know what? We're going to have to pull up a couple more. Grey Waves and Cleon, because I'm recording with Grey Waves next week. 5. Oh, and this is on Morning Skirmish too, and that's Cleon's map. So, got to do that for Cleon. And yeah, we're going to have to grab Doc. I'm really curious to see what Doc's bringing. In fact, I already saw what Doc's bringing. What's Doc have? Airborne Elite, Axe Grinders, Derek, Krav. That should be a fun army. Versus, who is it? Baron Scapius versus the Varkanons. I think playing into Varkanons will be a really interesting. Oh, that actually might not be a very interesting matchup because that's Axe Grinders into Varkanons. That could just be a steamroll. Let's see. Is there anything more interesting going on here? Doop-a-doop, Oglaha and Raigai. I recorded with Raigai recently. Oh, Raigai's got Heracles and Nilfheim too. Versus Marcus Stingers Phantom Knights. You know what? I think that'll be a better 6th game. Let's see where to go. Here we go. All right, so the players are setting up right now. I'm just going through so that we've got each of these maps fairly loaded. But we've got a good round here. Let's see. Anyone I'm sleeping on? Probably a lot that I'm sleeping on. There's a lot of interesting matchups here. So let's see. What other armies were brought? Heracles and Vulcan mix, I think, is an interesting. That's like so few figures. I am interested in how these small, like these small armies, but with these powerhouse figures goes. Like, you know, Heracles and Vulcan mix. That's plus Eldgrim, I guess. So that's what, 5 figures total. We'll see how that goes. What else looks like Heracles and Phantom Knights? I've got that game. The Heracles and Nilfheim one. Cleon with Marrden Hounds. I'm not seeing a lot of Soulborgs in here, so I think that will actually probably do pretty well. I like Sir Heroscape with Axe Grinders and Nosker. He brought a very anti-dragon army. We'll see how that goes for him. Because there's not as many dragons as I thought there might be. Real quick, on my other screen, I gotta pull up General Simon Fraser, Heroscapers, just so I can take a look at his card again real quick. Oops, that's not what I wanted. This one. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Why do you only have an archive? I don't want the archive, I want the actual thing. Oh, there we go. Okay. I guess there's a link in the archive that takes me to the actual thing. Because he gives, I want to say, +2 move. Okay, +2 as long as they engage. And it has an aura of 6. So I'm really, I kind of love this sheep army here. I don't know how well it will do. Krav, Warforged. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays. I really liked Sheep's army from the first qualifier, and he's actually one of the inspirations for why I'm doing it like this time with multiple games, because he had some amazing games that I did not get to record because, you know, I was only recording you know, 1 game at a time, and I didn't, you know, I was just looking at his games like, oh, you know, it's fine. I don't, like, I'll record a different game this go. And he just had some amazing games, so I'm interested to see how he goes. So we've got Dysel and Moon Knight are starting. Sir Heroscape and Foodzing are still placing. Still placement over here with Sheep versus Dashend. We've got the game is starting over here with Vegetarian versus Wolves. The double dragon armies. We've got placement still going for Cleon and Grey Waves, and we've got placement still going for Raigai and Oglaha. All right, so let's take it back to Dysel. Let's see how she's going. Ooh, Phantom Knight Blitz. Here we go. Wait, order marker 1 on Phantom Knights? Wait, was that Velda on there? Hang on, where's our... Which glyphs do we have on this map? Do we also have this map somewhere? I mean, I guess, must be Velda, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Holy stink. All right, and this is why we are doing it like this time, because you know, you get to find some cool games that happen in here. So we've got the Wildwoods here. I don't know if everybody's familiar with the Wildwoods. You should check them out. I won't have all of the figures that are showcased today in the description below, but I'll have Wildwoods for sure. Because they're a very intricate army, and I'll explain as I can. But basically right here, you had one of these glyphs has got to be Valda. Moon Knight took Valda, took a 4v4 versus a 5 defense against that tree there, and got all of the skulls, only 1 shield. That's a dead I'm trying to remember let's see, the Wildwood Monarch. This is the Monarch. This is the Sentinel, I believe. And the 6v5 blocked there. Yikes. So Dysel is starting off with no Sentinel. She's got a runner coming up. So yeah. So basically for these Wildwoods, this that hurts a lot for Dysel in this early game. You can tell she doesn't have very many figures. However, one of the strengths of the Wildwoods is they have insane regenerative abilities, where at the end of each round they can, like, the trees can level up, so one of these small ones can become this big one again. And if like the Monarch dies, then the medium can become the big one. Small becomes the medium becomes the large. So they can regenerate like this. But I like what Moon Knight is doing here, where just blitzing in. The Wildwoods have the long game. Dysel said to me last night, actually, she was talking to me about her army, and she was just picking something that she thought would be fun, and she's like, okay, tomorrow's experiment will be how oppressive are the Wildwoods in a timed format, because if it's not timed, infinite regenerative capabilities is infinite. It's pretty good. But where these games are timed, we'll see how this goes. And I think Moon Knight is making good plays here by blitzing in, especially with Velda on the board and getting movement and just being able to lock them. I mean, like, they've got height here. They're attacking down on her trees. I'd say this is a pretty good position going into this, which is pretty exciting. And so you've got the Monarch blocked the attack, going for the runner because that is how you want to do it. The Monarch can break off runners too, so again it can go on forever. So part of the troubles with playing against Wildwoods is like, okay, where do you start killing? Apparently the answer is you start killing the Sentinel, but the problem is like these runners can become Sentinels, and so you need to like kind of weaken it across the board and then start killing. So it'll be interesting to see how this game goes. Those 6 dice attacks for Dysel not doing super hot. Let's swap games real quick. Let's go over here. We've got the dragons, double dragons going down. Doop. Let's see. Nothing, or no, wait, hang on. We've got 2 Greenscales dead on Veggie's side. Braxas killing 2 of them. This will be an interesting matchup because I don't know if I'm into Braxas. They didn't color code their Greenscales, which is potentially going to be confusing for me when I'm jumping through games. I'm sure they'll be fine because they'll be able to keep track of it and they'll color code if needed. But just for me, I'm like, what? Anyway, so kind of building up here, building up momentum. Veggie's lost 2 Greenscales, but this is only the second turn for Wolves, right? And Veggie's only had 1 turn, so lots of stuff to go. Is everybody else starting? Oh, hey, look at that. We've got, let's see, Raigai blitzing in. Holy cow, killing 5 Stingers already. Nilfheim has 1 wound. So it looks like, actually, this is kind of fun. Raigai is like, you've got a lot of numbers against me, but it doesn't matter if I just run in and start killing them all. And Nilfheim is very strong. Heracles is going to struggle into this army because this is they're pretty happy to go against Heracles. They've got numbers, but Nilfheim is the one who can even those odds pretty quickly. And so rushing in with Nilfheim there, that's very fun. that's very fun, and that's round looks like. So let's see, we've got Nilfheim at 1 wound again. We've got 5 Stingers dead, so that means only 4 Stingers remaining. And the Stingers are really the big worry for Heracles too. Like, Heracles isn't going to love playing into 9 Phantom Knights, but he's going to be more okay with that than, 9 Stingers. So let's see. And it looks like Agbaha is going on for Stingers, going for like, this is probably his, wait, what? 3 order markers on Stingers? What are you... Maybe he's thinking that since Nilfheim is here with a Phantom Knight, then like Nilfheim will have to risk like, okay, do I kill this with a special attack? But no, you just disengage. You just like go, okay, I'm here now, and then you attack him. So, looks like no drain. So I was actually just talking. I was on Joe Crazy's channel, recording a game with him the other day, and we were talking about stingers and stinger drain and how you should never drain except for if you really need the comeback. This is almost that territory, I would say. Maybe that's why the second order marker is on stingers, because maybe he drains if things go poorly. But like, yeah, so Raigai, just disengage, come right here probably, or I don't know where exactly. Maybe here. Is that 5? 1 2 3 4 5. Nope, that's not. Nope. 1 2 3 4 5. No, because you're. I'd kill stinger. Like, no, you got 3 order markers on stingers. This is the other nice thing about doing it live, is I can scroll back up and look at where the order markers are at. So like, we know everything is on Nilfheim right now. Interesting. No, that's 6 range. That's 6 range. Oh, looks like he's probably catching that now. So he rolled that, or no, that was the disengagement. Okay, yeah, he's changing. Okay, yeah, because you go for 3 stingers, and if you kill all 3, that's 1 stinger. That's insane. So very good attacks. Kills 2 of them. There's 2 stingers left. So here, where you've got at least 1, maybe 2 more order markers on stingers, this might be where you stinger drain. Like this might be the rare opportunity to have a good stinger drain go in. Because you can take 2 attacks to 3, a 3v5 and a 3v4. Or, well, I mean, like, looks like he's not doing stinger draining, he's rolling just fine. But this is like one of those cases where I'm like, okay, you're behind, maybe. Well, I don't know, because once you kill Nilfheim, like, you're fine, right? Like, at that point, you're fine because it's just Heracles. So, we'll see. And he put 2 wounds on Nilfheim. With stinger drain, maybe you get that other wound. But of course, if you get the 1 through 4, I think, then you lose your turn and you lose one of your stingers, so that sucks. And what does Raigai do? So he, yeah, definitely doesn't disengage because 1 life left. Attacks the stinger next to him, blocked. Okay, so that's where just numbers and having, quantity over quality, to an extent there. So let's see, and then we've got Phantom Knights. Let's see. Because he wants to finish off Nilfheim. We know that the 3rd order marker is on Nilf. I'm curious. I just want to see if this goes through. So 2 attacks up. They do not go through. And now there's 3 figures engaged with Nilfheim. So he gets to Ice Shard happily. Oh, but there is a Phantom Knight back here going against Heracles, trying to soften him up, and that works. 2 wounds on Heracles. So yeah, I'd say Aglaha's doing a good job here. I think not stinger draining was probably, I mean, hindsight's 2020, right? Like I think it's Matthias says the good play is the one that works, and this play is working out for him fine. So probably didn't need the stinger drain there. I was maybe panicking a little too quickly since I had just jumped into the game, but let's see, kills 2 figures, kills the stinger, kills 1 knight. So Nilfheim's still pretty strong in there, and that's the round here. We'll have to jump back to this one. Let's see what's going on over here. Cleon versus Grey Waves there. It looks like they're in... Wait, hang on. Stingers are strung out? Interesting. Not sure why that's going down. We've got Kaemon up here. How did that stinger get all the way up there? There's a lot of movement for a stinger, and it looks like he's only done this, like, yeah. Oh, maybe this is order marker 2 on the stinger, so he had just moved to that, and he's probably looking at what else he needs to move or wants to move right now. Okay, looks like this one's pretty early on. We've got some other exciting games going on here right now, so I wanted to see what's going on here. Braxas versus Nilfheim. They're rolling for initiative. That's exciting stuff, but I do want to see how Dice Hole's doing. Let's see what's going on over here. Monarch's dead. Oh my gosh. This is one of the problems of jumping through games like this is there's a Well, yeah, you miss stuff sometimes. And so Monarch's dead. The Sentinel is back. Heracles is in the mix now. No dead Phantom Knights, looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, yep. But Heracles does have 5 wounds. Heracles is very scary for this army because of strong pieces. Monarch, or I guess, no, Monarch's the only large one there. Sentinel is medium. Never mind. But still, you know, scary. Big punching bag. And good into the Monarch. But this is where we're going to see, like, can Moon Knight clean this up? Or will Daisel's regenerative powers work out in the long run? So kills a thing there. Attacking the Wildwood. Blocked. Attacking the, let's see. It's got to be the wild, or I said Wildwood. Runner, the small one. Okay, that's working. And I'm just remembering now also that Daisel's probably streaming this, so check out Daisel's channel if you want to see the full game of this Twitch channel. In fact, I probably should not be looking at Daisel's game or Sir Heroscape's game. I'm going to go ahead and exit. Well, I want to take a quick look at Sir Heroscape's. Their early development. Okay. But Sir Heroscape is live streaming, so we won't worry about this. I'm pretty invested in Daisel's, so I'm going to keep hers up. Even though she's probably also streaming. But yeah, if you want all of the action, all of the tasty Wildwood action here, you can check out Daisel's Twitch and see what she's doing there. Looks like Daisel's taking her turn. She's got the Sentinel. Oh, had the order marker on the Sentinel too. Very good. Hang on, I'm curious to see. So it looks like the Monarch was probably in trouble early on. Because she put 2 order markers on Sentinel. So she knew that it was probably going to die, which is good, because if the Monarch dies, that's also like, you know, your usual order marker hub, and so that's tough to lose there. Looks like we've got, so 2 failed attacks from the Wildwoods, and then Moon Knight's taking a turn with Heracles. He's throwing the Sentinel down, misses the damage, but now gets to attack down with 7 dice, right? 6 base attack? Yeah, and 6 skulls. Holy cow. That's difficult. So that's dead. Sentinel there. There's 1 more runner remaining. This is not looking good for Daisel here. Again, I think the aggressive tactics was a very good choice from Moon Knight here. Let's check out some other games. Let's see, Dashin versus Sheep. They're developing. Again, this was one that I was very excited for. You've got Fraser here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as long as the Warforged are within this kind of range here, you can get that bonus. I'm curious to see how that goes. Looks like he's leading Warforged instead of Krav. I would be tempted to use Krav, just because of the 4th, but we'll see. We'll come back to this one because I want to come back to, wait. All right, so Nilfheim, dead. Looks like Nilfheim died very early on in that round. Let's see, there was not... Stop it. So yeah, Ryguy went all in on Heracles, knowing that Nilfheim was about to die. Good choice. Heracles is now at 4 wounds. So it looks like Nilf was killed early in the round, I think turn 1, and now Heracles is in the mix. And he's tanking attacks. That was 3 attacks from Phantom Knights, and Heracles was fine. Oh no, wait, hang on. Even Marku's fine. The 3v1 was even blocked. So way to go, Marku. So we've got Heracles. Did I just come back in time for the round to? I did. So, but I'm interested though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phantom Knights versus, and 1 Stinger and a Marku versus Heracles and Marku. Definitely edge Phantom Knights. Why did that Morrow come back? Why are Morrow coming back? Treasure glyphs? Because there's supposed to be treasure glyphs here. Is that the treasure glyph? Wait, I don't. They're probably like, hey, there's no treasure glyphs, and Heracles could use a treasure glyph right now. Okay, I guess. But But yeah, definitely edge squads, I would say at this point. This is a fun endgame where Marku versus Marku, there's no eternal hatred. So that could be fun, but I don't really see it going anywhere, unfortunately, for Raigai, I think. Well, I mean, it could. I don't know. That's such a coin flip if it comes down to Marku versus Marku. All right, let's see what's coming down here. So Phantom Knights versus Heracles again. Smart. You know, there's one Stinger left. Don't need to worry about it. So 2 going in versus Marku. Interesting. I guess, yeah, and that makes sense. Agblaha does not want Marku to come through and start killing squad figures and regenerating life and all that stuff, so putting some wounds on Marku. And also he can spread out so that Heracles can't really get in more attacks. So that can also work. And 6 wounds, that's a dead Marku right there. So 4 life Heracles versus the world. Yeah, I'd say this game is probably about done. I do want to see what Heracles' turn does here, though. So just moves here to attack Phantom Knight. Yeah, at this point, it's just kind of like a numbers game. Phantom Knight blocks it, so that's not looking very good for Heracles there. Let's see, we've got the Sentinel is back, because at the end of the round, this Wildwood became a Sentinel. Is that game, though? Hang on. 2 on Heracles attacked. That might have been the last wound on the Sentinel there. Yeah, I think that's game. Which is unfortunate for Dysel, but I liked the blitz there. But that means, yeah, good game between Moon Knight and Dysel there that we got to see part of. All right, so Sheep is now engaging 4th. Using Fraser's bonus there. Interesting with... We're seeing a lot of rushes today, and this is kind of like a little bit more of a developed rush here, but still a rush. There's a dead 4th. Let's see. Oh, Sheep must have... This must be Dagmar, I guess, because Sheep won initiative here. So rushing in and probably maybe counting on Warforged high defense to last versus the attacks here. Doesn't work on that attack. Warforged switches into here and then attacks 4th right there. Only 1 skull, but gets the kill. Interesting. So that's 2 dead 4th. I don't think there are any Warforged casualties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, Warforged are all here still. And probably just rushing in to like try to slow down development. He definitely didn't want 4th to just get all along here. Even though, you know, Warforged can switch into that. You don't want like, you know, 4th up here and back here and getting weight and fire and all that stuff in there. So I can kind of see why he's making that rush into there. Problem is the Knights, yeah, will probably be pretty good. I'm interested to see how this goes. Nilfheim's dead. Braxas is dead. Wow. What happened here? Yeah, the problem with choosing to follow 5 games at a time is sometimes some games take a bit more of a back burner. This game took a bit more of a back burner, then you come to it and you're like, wait, what? So 2 dead dragons. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Greenscales versus Van Nessing, who's at 1 wound, and 1 Greenscale. Also, there's Marku. Because, you know, you can never have too many Markus in a tournament. Interesting. And it looks like it's just kind of like surround and attack at this point. I don't know, this is... Like, it's rough because Van Nessing is in such a good spot here. And you don't want to necessarily play into Veggie's plan of like, well, I'll just like, this is a good defensive spot. This is where it kind of turns into a dice off, and you like don't necessarily want that to be your end game. But also if he doesn't, since Van Nessing has the range, he could even come back onto this place, and so preventing that leaving to here and having just high ground, or even going up to the level 4 there, is probably more important. So Van Nessing kills a greenie. Doesn't take the extra turn. Might have already taken it, I'm not sure. But yeah, but you also want to develop at the same time. I'd probably be developing at least one Greenscale with this, like doing a 2v5 and a 2v4, and then letting one of these stick around instead of trying to blitz through the wounds. Just to have, because you don't want to lose all of this and then have Van Nessing take one of these isolated single hexes and be even in an even stronger position. Holy cow, Van Nessing just smacking lizards. Smacking them hard. Interesting. So we're in the end game here. Unfortunately, I missed the exciting parts of that battle. Let's see what we haven't missed for this one. Let's see. Heracles punching through. Hang on. Sorry. I really want to see this Cleon game here, but I also really want to see, is Heracles gonna pull through? He's got 2 lives left. Marco comes in. Okay. Did we come in just in time for the finishing blow? 2 skulls. If Heracles whiffs, it's over. Oh, but he blocks it, man. Heracles going the distance. Hercules. He will find his way. He can go the distance. He'll be there someday, somehow. Anyway, I guess, actually, sorry. Whiffing with 6 dice against Marku. Maybe not going the distance. We'll see. Man. And I keep coming into this game right as the rounds end. Got Stingers up here. This is an interesting game. So looks like Grey Waves is pushing more with Stingers, I think, to keep the Hounds from getting board control in like multiple engagements, because you don't want, Hounds to be in the middle of the board while you've got a bunch of stuff in the middle of the board, and then Plague just goes off like crazy. So yeah, it looks like pretty even trades so far. Well, actually, I'd say edge Stingers, because that's 3 dead Hounds and 1 dead Stinger. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, only 1 dead Stinger so far. So Cleon's puppies not doing as much as he wants them to, and they're not going to do much more. Rolling only a 1 for the movement there. Oh, and look, we've also got 2 more Markus here. How many Markus are in this freaking tournament? That's one of my struggles with Hounds. I like Hounds conceptually, but if I'm ever playing competitively with them, it just feels bad because it's so dependent on the D20. I think there's a lot of skill with using Hounds. Even though there's so much D20 that there is a lot of skill with it. However, D20 still decides a lot of what you're doing there, and that just gets rougher. Like he's got a Hound right here, and he just moved it to right there. He'll probably move this one, just so that he can get an attack there. But he would have loved to be able to get this guy up here, this guy to right here, potentially. I don't know, because then that Stinger could cap it. Well, I mean, but 8 move would have been great. 8 move Hounds, like when Hounds get 8 move, it's so good. And then you get the 19 there for Plague, and so you air quotes moved that one so that you could attack with it, and then it turns out your D20 kicks in there, so you don't even get the attack you would have gotten that Plague roll anyway. That's feels bad with Hounds sometimes. How are these Warforged doing? Looks like still no losses here. This game is going pretty slow, looks like. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's good when they're thinking things through, when they're working well. Also, it looks like attacks maybe just aren't going through as well, is the other thing. Let's see. Are there any hiding dead figures? Nope. I can also do that. I can check for hiding dead figures, which is also pretty fun. Man, live games. Look, another Marku. Hang on. Okay. No, I'll do it later. Sorry, this game. So, Yeah, Van Nessing took the high ground here. Van Nessing now only at 1 life remaining though, and that's a dead Van Nessing. That's got to be game there. Just in time for the end of the game. We've got 1 Greenscale remaining. It technically could win still because, you know, there are dice in this game, but yeah, no, Pouncing Wolves is getting in all 3 attacks here. That should be a dead Greenscale. Let's see. So Grey Wave's now pushing the advantage, takes this single hex height here, which is actually a spot on the board that I'm not certain about. But we can talk about maps later. Getting some good attacks in though. Again, pushing with Stingers. I wouldn't call this a rush as much as like some of the other games have been rushing, but using that aggressive play to deny some of the advantage that the opponent would have. That's a theme that we're seeing this round of Champion Circle League, right? Is pushing for those advantages there. Heracles is dead. Oh man, Marku took him. Heracles almost took Marku. Got 3 wounds on him, but that's dead Heracles. Rest in peace, Heracles. Go the distance, all the way to Olympus. Because you're dead now. Actually, I guess it'd technically be to Hades, right? Anyway, so now Cleon gets the move that he wanted. Moving in, trapping some Stingers in the start zone here. That's the kind of play that he's been wanting this whole time. I wonder how his movement rolls have been overall, because I don't know, he's just very stuck back here. So I wonder if he got a lot of like 4 moves or 2 moves. 2? Yeah. 2, 4, or 8. So 4 or 2s. But yeah, so because now he's able to get this Stinger over here. He needs to do something about this guy probably, but also like now that he's mostly out of the start zone, it's like maybe you cut your losses. But if he can, I mean, there's still a lot of Stingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, there should be 7, right? Yeah, 7. Sorry, down here. So there's 7 Stingers on the board. But if he can, Dagmar, is this the end of the round? Did the Stingers already take their last turn? Yeah, they did. So Dagmar's okay here. Anyway, so rolling for some plagues, getting some kills in here. Awesome. Anyway, sorry. I promise, I have a train of thought. I'm just getting very distracted. Rolling a couple of 15s here. No, that 15 was for movement. That 15 was for plague. That's like one of those ones where you're like, man, if only I had Subakna, but that's okay. Anyway, so killing another Stinger. If he can turn this end game, this is the thought that I've been trying to finish this whole time. Oops, man, my mouse scrolls very loosely. Anyway, getting a couple kills there. If he can get this end game down to Kaemon versus Phantom Knights, then it's in a good spot for Cleon, especially because there's some good spots like a single hex height, double hex where like there'd only be 1 attack against him. So if he can abuse that with Kaemon, then Cleon's very happy. It's been a rough start, it seems like, for him. But like, you know, Kaemon into 3 squads of Phantom Knights, potentially edge Kaemon there, right? Like, depending on where Kaimon's able to get for that last little bit. Oh, there's even a spot right here. Kaemon could just sit here and be like, all right, come at me. Although I guess technically he'd have to kill some Phantom Knights first because points, blah, blah, blah. In fact, speaking of, how much time is remaining in this round right now? 20 minutes left. So there's still time for the game to go places. So this game is over now. Get rid of this one. This one is, these 2 are still have a long ways to go. But yeah, so we'll see how Kaemon is able to do with this. They're doing order markers now, so let's come back over here and see what's going down. 1 Warforged dead now. The Warforged in a very strong spot up here, though. So you've got 4 Warforged up here. You've got 4 more in the start zone with Krav. The problem is these Warforged are like in the start zone. They're just hanging out in the start zone. And so if these 4 up here die, which is possible because there's enough attacks per turn for Dachshund over here, then that becomes a very bad situation. But if Sheep hadn't rushed in with these guys in the first place, he'd be facing the same situation, kind of. And it's one of those things like, is it better to rush in and try to get a little bit of an advantage here? Or is it better to build up more slowly since Warforged can switch and then run in and like switch through things? It's that's the choice that you've got to make when you're coming into this matchup, and Sheep elected to go for the faster approach here. And so far, I don't know, like none of these attacks are going through, it looks like, or they've just rolled like 2 attacks since we last came. But there's like nothing's dead. There's 1 dead Warforged, 2 dead 4th. This game has not been going many places. And it's probably because, I mean, like, you know, there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of decisions that need to be made with these armies. When you're going in with Warforged, where do you go? Where do you switch? How do you want to position them? When you're playing against Warforged, how do you try to deny switches? What are you okay with allowing them to do? That kind of stuff. So, and you've also got Jandar's Dispatch doing some things in here. Like, you just had Knights of Weston. Where is he moving the squad figures? Is he moving squad figures? Okay, there we go. Look, we had a movement there. Action on the board. And he's probably planning everything out ahead of time. That move was illegal. He only got 2 symbols there. That's 3 move there. We'll see if Sheep catches it. Maybe not. We'll see. But or actually, sorry, that was probably his normal movement there. He's probably moving to attack at this point, because you wouldn't do that movement with the Jandar's Dispatch. You'd be moving other guys. So yeah, that was fine. Sorry, I apologize, Dachshund. That was a leaving engagement attack, though. Did they catch that? Remember? There we go. Yep. Dachshund, more like Neon Cat, apparently, according to Google. But yeah, so it's an interesting game. And it's an interesting game, but it's a slow game, which is like one of my things with watching games live is like, that's why I like to jump through games, because like, just something happened already, but then I leave for a little bit and everything happens. Like, in fact, Cleon's probably like totally turned all the tables over there. Maybe. I don't know. I want to see how these attacks go through. Okay. Let's just stop over here for a second to see what's going on. Phantom Knights are coming into the play now. We've got 1 squad of Stingers remaining. Hounds looks like Cleon got initiative, got Hounds, got in, got some kills in there. Only 1 plague kill, but still getting in there, getting what he wants to do. Grey Wave's going with Phantom Knights, all Phantom Knights? Yeah, probably all on Phantom Knights, just because he didn't want to lose all the Stingers. Makes sense. And be down on an attacking power. Although this would have been a great turn for Stingers, though. Well, at least for 2 of them, 2 4v5s. That would have been very nice. Then you could have gotten that 3v5 there. But, yeah, it's the risk-reward there. The reward would have been nice, but risk probably wasn't worth it. Alright, are they rolling attacks? Oh, they're rolling attacks! So a block, because of that Warforged Resolve. Warforged are so fun to play. Man, I need to play them again. I wonder if I could come up with a Warforged army for the next Utah tournament that we have. Another block. And see, with Warforged Resolve plus height, a lot of the time here, you're looking at a pretty okay situation here, right? Like, he's blocked all of these attacks. Yeah, so attacks are going through. Well, no, they're not going through. That's the problem. Attacks are being swung, but they're just not going through in this game. Come on, stop it. So I've got a free scrolling mouse wheel, but if I turn it on, I was concerned about the noise that it might make, but I'm not really scrolling through things right now. I guess if I do that, I don't know. We'll see. This is all experimental. So Sheep's taking his turn now, making some attacks down, kills a knight. There you go, some movement here. 2 dice down, or 2 skulls down on that knight, lives. 1, but 0 shields. So that's another dead knight. So kills 2 knights. pretty okay situation for sheep. I mean, the numbers are still on Dashin's side, just because Dashin has a lot of squads on his side. But let's see, that's 2 dead knights, 2 dead fourth. I mean, this game is still so up in the air, because one good round from the Knights of Weston could just turn this. Like, he's got 5 attacks this turn. That could just turn this whole thing, potentially. The question is, you know, will it? Will the attacks go through? So the potential's there. We're just looking for, are those attacks going to go through, or is he just going to be attacking and you know, getting blocked a bunch? That is actually one of the nice things, I guess, about this aggressive play that Sheep made here, is that with height, Dashin doesn't really have high attack power in his army. Like he could with fourth if they're on height, but you know, you switch into that. He's got number of attacks for sure, but he doesn't have like consistent attacks of 4 or more. He could get a knight next to Gilbert. If he got a good enough dispatch, he could even get, well, no, because he'd have to, that's kind of a bottle there. Anyway, I was thinking if he could take these 2 spots against these 2 Warforged, that'd be great. Unfortunately, there's like a 4th right here. If that 4th would just die, then he could fill that in. But if Sheep is smart, he won't let that 4th die, especially because, you know, endgame Krav versus 4th, you're fine there, right? So yeah, there's a lot of decision making going on in this game. Let's see what's going on with Phantom Knights and Hounds over here. This is the part where, like, usually I would even maybe, well, let's see, how many games have finished up? So Moon Knight beat Dice Soul, Pouncing Wolves beat Veggie, we saw that. Night of Light beat Morsebane, didn't see how that went. Uglahav beat Ryguy. Chris Perkins overcame himself, way to go. Doc is still going, Nomad Flash Gordon, Agent Warden. Let's get, I was trying to pull up Doc earlier, I think, right? Oh yeah, because I thought Doc would just win this versus Varkanons. Oh yeah. No, that happened. Looks like they just haven't recorded the win yet, but I don't see any wolves on the board, so yeah. Okay, so Doc won. Food Sing for Sir Heroscape, that's being streamed, so we won't worry about that right now. Let's check out these guys real quick. Nomad versus Flash Gordon. Nilf going against a bunch of soldiers. Interesting. Agent Ward and Loki. What's going down here? Looks like Volks versus soldiers. How many? Let's see, 1 marker taken off, but that's a bunch of Cathar remaining. Anyway, I'm more invested in these games. I just wanted to see how those ones are going. Blocked attack, blocked attack. No, wait, that one wasn't blocked. No, that's another dead Warforged. Woof! All right, so this middle Warforged dies. That's nice, because that opens up a lot of movement for Dashin there. So we'll see what Sheep does into that. Over here, we've got a dead Phantom Knight. That Hex is just, that's a thorn in Cleon's side there. Especially since he decided to engage. I almost wonder if it would have been better to ignore that spot. And I don't remember where exactly he was before this happened, if he engaged it when there were more order markers on Stingers. But like once you see that, he probably had engaged it when there were more order markers on Stingers. But once you see that there's not, if you can get away from there so that Phantom Knights can't keep flying in, that's great. Because otherwise he's getting even ground. And 3v5s, like they'll go through, but not 100% of the time. You know, only like 1 out of 3 times. See? So that's just a pain of a spot, and it's like, you know, do you try to kill it? He'll just fill it in anyway. Do you just like use your other hounds and try to let Plague take care of that? Maybe. But yeah, so we've got an end game looking like 1 Stinger. 6, 7, yep, 1 Stinger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Phantom Knights still. And 2 Marcus, of course. And then we've got Kaemon We've got 4 wolves. This game could still go either way, really. Especially because Kaemon versus Phantom Knights. Like, Kaemon into Phantom Knights is just that good. I think. I mean, I watch me be jinxing this the whole time. Alright, so we've got Hounds, Kaemon, Phantoms, and Stingers aren't going to be taking a turn. Stinger. Probably should have been X on Marku, even. Ooh, kills a Hound. Alright. 2 skulls here, 1 shield, another dead Hound. Alright, attack over here, 1 skull, 1 shield. Alright. Definitely want to pivot around there so that you can't get high. Another one of those single height hexes, which is just going to be a pain with these Phantom Knights. Cleon can move wherever he wants to. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can't really do anything against those guys. Probably does not want to engage there, I would guess. Yeah, it's like, where do you move? Maybe you hide here for now. Maybe you come over to this grouping. Because you need to get a little bit closer, but you also don't want to, like, give him definitely here or here so that there's not too many strong attacks against you, but maybe even not that, so that you can't totally surround you. Maybe you hide back here and try to make the Phantom Knights come at you. But, well, I don't know. Where would points be right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Phantom Knights plus a Stinger versus 2 Hounds, and I think points are probably on Greywave's side right now, but that's probably fair too, because that way there like only 1 Phantom Knight can get to you unless it attacks up, which I doubt it would. I guess you could get 2. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Never mind, you can't even attack there. But does not get the kill there. So more Warforged developing here. Let's see, since we last checked this place out. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so no deaths since we last came here. We had a Warforged come around here though. Or he's moving right now, sorry. Yeah, duh, he's gonna switch. Looks like he wants to keep a front with at least 4 Warforged at a time, and he's probably trying to find a place where he can like charge in here on the next turn with the 7 move. If you wanted to get here, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, if he places here, he can get up to this spot in the next turn, which is a good spot to be in. Or really any of those, and so Dashund cannot be in that area. And then if he's not there, if he like took here, for example, and didn't block that off, because in order to block that off, he has to have a figure here, and so that becomes a good spot. If he just moved up there, from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he'd be able to get there if he tries. Yeah, so I think Sheep is just trying to make life difficult for Dashund, which is a good strategy in a game of Heroscape. Yeah, it's just a lot of things. I like this game. I like that there's a lot of decision making in here. I think both players are playing very, very smart in this game. And you know, being very aware of the Warforged conundrum. Alright, so 2 skulls blocked. So do you attack the 4th or do you attack Gilbert? I was going to say Gilbert, probably the better one, because you don't want a boosted attack up. If you got that 4th could be an easy kill. But you want to get rid of Gilbert for sure. And that's 2 wounds on Gilbert, plus anything, plus another one. So 2 lives left on Gilbert. That's very nice for Sheep. Marku took a couple wounds. but nothing against the Hound. Looks like they're playing, or Grey Waves is playing a little bit safer here, which is good. You know, you don't want to throw the game. I'd say Grey Waves is a little bit ahead, kind of, except for the fact that Kaemon is on the board. Let's see, rolled a 7. Oh, I think that's only 4 move. That's not what Cleon wanted. Maybe it's 8. I don't remember. There's so many cutoffs on that card. So plaguing plague on society. Nothing going through. Making some attacks. I'm just really interested. There are some interesting decisions in this game. This game is definitely the more decision heavy one. This one I'm just interested to see if Cleon's able to, or sorry, if Grey Waves really is able to pull off this end game against Kaemon. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on this game for. Let's see. So Dashin's attack with Gilbert did not go through. Now he's moving some knights into position. He's got an attack of 4 here, which will be helpful. Some even ground attacks. The Warforged are... Well, yeah, no, that's even the thing here, because like if this Warforged doesn't die, he can move down here and then switch up. Okay, so blocked attack there, and that was the 4-die attack. Attacking up. 1 skull, not going to do it. Sheep has made this game very difficult for Dashin, which is, again, great. I like the choices that have been made in this game. I think Sheep rushing out early. I don't think I've ever seen Warforged used with Frazier. So I like it. I don't know if this is his usual game plan. Attacking the right Warforged there, because that's the one that can switch. Oh, does he get the kill? He gets the kill too. So no switching there. Way to go. And now Sheep doesn't have another Warforged, so Sheep's going to be sacrificing an attack here, but he would have been sacrificing an attack earlier, blah, 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 blah. Just choices, all that good stuff. Yeah, I'd say that, like, you know, this push from Sheep has been good at making things difficult. But again, it's still kind of that situation of if Dashin gets some lucky attacks in, or, you know, just some good attacks in, gets, you know, a few good attacks, and there's not stuff to follow it up, Sheep is in trouble there. I would even say, like, well, let's see, who won initiative? Sheep won. So yeah, keeping your attacks down is a good idea here. Just trying to thin out numbers. And that's really what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to make this into a workable end game for the Krav to come in and win. Oh, killed another knight. Do you go for a knight here, or do you go for Gilbert? Because Gilbert's a thorn, but that's 2 lives you gotta get through. But you're not gonna get a better shot at Gilbert probably at this point. So yeah, I think it was correct to try for Gilbert. It was blocked, would have been blocked anyway against a knight. Then moving Gilbert up. Yep. Try to get an even ground attack, and then you got 2 attacks of 4 that you can create there. Very good. Let's see if it goes through. Attack dice now. Attack dice now. Oh, is he rethinking his move? Is he thinking maybe he wants to stay low with Gilbert? There we go. Blocked. Alright. While he's dispatching... Oh, whoa! Those are dead hounds. Okay, so the Hounds are gone. You got the Phantom Knights are trying to work on Kaemon, or sorry, Marku down here. Then you still got Kaemon on the board. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Phantom Knights on the board. Things have gone really well for Grey Waves, I would say, this game so far. And that's 2 wounds onto Marku, who is now dead. So it's just Kaemon versus 8 Phantom Knights, a full life Marku, and 1 Stinger. The problem is, Kaemon can totally pull this off. Points are on Grey Wave's side. So what he needs to happen, Kaimon's going to move here and quick release there. You know, smart. But what Grey Waves probably needs to do is pull back a little bit, force Kaemon to come off of this spot so that you can at least have some even ground engagements, because if he just tries to rush in there, then that's a loss. Like, you know, if he's like, okay, this game is timed, we've got 10 seconds left. What? Hang on real quick. How have these other games gone? Do we have any other ones here? Looks like nothing coming through. Doop-a-doop. That one, yeah, Volcamix lost. This one, oh, what's going on here? What the heck? Anyway, sorry, that's like one of those games where I'm like, I didn't even get to go to that one, even though I've been watching like 5 games. So yeah, at this point, it's probably finish your round at this point. Over here too, man, I wish I could have seen this game play out. But yeah, Grey Waves has this. Like, he's got points. He's fine. If this game was not timed, I think Kaemon maybe even still pulls this out. I don't know. And maybe I'm overestimating Kaemon versus 8 Knights, but maybe I'm not. Sorry, 7 Knights at this point. Only 7 on the board. But yeah, Grey Waves has this because of time. Over here, let's see. I don't even know what points are looking like in this game. I'm sure they also have to finish their round. So let's see. 1 squad dead. Nope, that's another Warforged dead. So 4 dead Warforged. 3 dead Knights, 2 dead fourth. I think they're doing partial hero scoring as well. So 4 wounds on Gilbert. I think that's Edge Sheep right now. But this game is still so young. Timed games are such a mixed bag, I say, because, you know, sometimes you get a game like this and you're like, oh, I just want to finish this out. Or sometimes you're Cleon and you're like, oh, if only I could finish out this game. And I think Grey Waves is probably retreating right now so that Kaemon is going to have a harder time, because it's possible, you know, like Kaemon, if you got in here and got a lot of good attacks in, could bring the points back down into his favor. I don't think it's super likely, but you know, that possibility is in the air. But like this one, Cleon's probably like, no, I want this game to keep going. I've got a good chance going in here. And here, you know, like there's still a lot that can happen in this game. But things have just been, you know, I mean, there's just been so many decisions to make. Not much has happened, and so the game is still young. And it's one of those ones where it's like, you know, you'd love to see it play out, but also at the same time, I would not want to cast this game live. This is one of the ones where I'm like, I would record this game and then come back and watch it on double speed, because I appreciate all the decisions, but it's a lot to sit through when you're just watching, right? So man, kind of a double-edged sword. And even like if I'm playing a game, if I'm playing this game, sometimes I'm like, yeah, let's just call it a time. Let's just call it. You know, like sometimes, you know, you're just not in the headspace to play a game that lasts for a couple hours. All right, so where are we at for order markers? This is Dashin's last turn. So it might have even been a mistake to move a Warforged right there, because Sheep's not going to do anything with it. It probably would have been better to keep it back. Although, also, I mean, like, you know, fair, right? Like, I do like the idea of just, like, playing out the game like it wouldn't have gone to time. I don't know, because also there's weird end game situations when time comes into play. Did everything die here? Wait, what the heck? What happened here? I don't even know. This game's over. There's too many Cathar on the board and not enough time, so those games are gone. Ring of Protection on Kaemon. Good job, Kaemon, but you don't have the time to use it. Looks like Dispatch is still, or no, maybe he's moving in for attacks now. And this is the last turn of the game, right? Yeah, because Sheep already had his 3. This is Dashin's 3. So yep, he's going for maximum attacks there. Right call. Even if the game weren't going to time, this is probably the right call. 1 squad of knights. 6 fourth. 2 life Gilbert. Against 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 Warforged. And Krav. This game could still go either way, really. The attack's not going through. Warforged Resolve coming in clutch. Many times during this game. Looks like a lot of, like, I mean, there've been so many times where I've seen Warforged Resolve just, like, being that extra shield that was needed. Which is insane. Not that, I mean, like, not that it's uncommon for that to happen, but it's crazy how many times it has happened. I think that's game. Was that the last attack? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So, I'm not sure exactly where they're at with, like, have they called time? Let me check real quick. They haven't said on Discord to finish your game yet. So, okay, actually, you know what? Maybe they've got one more round. Looks like they're still playing for one more round. Looks like everything's... Are they still going through? Yeah, sorry, I was talking about this like this was the last round of the game. Maybe there's still one more round? Let's see, what are they saying over here? Last round warning right now. Okay. And they're just barely starting their round, so I think it's fair to let it go for one more round. I'm sure Sheep would have loved it to end right there. So we'll see how this goes. Let's see, what about over here? What's going on? Cleon, yep, moving in, taking some safe spots, taking some snipes. Oh, but last round was just announced. So, we'll see how this one goes. Does attack go through? Attack does not go through. All right. So you've got Warforged, switching, killing that knight. Warforged here, 3 skulls. Yep, kill on that knight. Attack here, 2 skulls. Kills that knight. Wow. In one turn, he like almost doubles his knight kill count. That's insane. How many 3 order markers on Knights of Weston? I mean, because 4th aren't going to do much against the Warforged at this board state. So, but yikes. I'm sure after how this game has gone so far, Dashin was not expecting for, you know, to lose 3 knights in one turn. But that was 3 attacks down, though. It almost makes me think that Dashin was maybe planning on time to end right there. I don't know. Many possibilities there. Okay, so they're going for one more round here too. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 knights. Nope, 7 knights still. Stinger, Marku. Knights are the most points per kill. Grey Waves has Marku though. He's gonna move him in to tie him up. Maybe make that attack. Hang on. 1 order marker on Marku. Maybe just to make the attack while he can. I mean, an attack of 4 is nice. So why not, right? And 3 skulls. And if it's partial hero scoring as well, then any wounds you can get on Kaemon just help further cement your lead here, your point lead. You don't have 8 dice. Oh, he does, because he got the Ring of Protection. Oh, maybe that's why Marku was brought in. To try to get rid of that Ring of Protection. So it ends up dealing a wound on Greywaves. But that's also minimal, though, because Marku is, I don't know, however many points per life there. So I think that's fine. Really, I think Greywaves, it kind of sucks, honestly, but I think Greywaves just needs to, like, next turn, move these guys to here, move this one to here, and just take, you know, make it so that Kaemon can't get, well, maybe that might not even be good enough, because Kaemon doesn't get height, but that means, you know, like, special attacks don't matter there. Is he disengaging? Oh, he's probably going for the points. Yeah, and he knows there's not another order marker on Marku. And so he's going for points, and he can come here. And if the knights, the problem is if the knights attack into Kaemon, you run the risk of losing points. So right now, like, Greywaves is ahead on points, even with that 1 kill. Greywaves is ahead, but if he attacks, he might fall behind. I think he's still ahead. Yeah, 7 knights plus change. So he's still ahead on the board. He's got more than 120 points easy. So do you just run with knights? Do you just, like, try to spread them out and make it so that there can't be a good quick release? Like, so that he can't kill 2 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, maybe you run this knight over here. Maybe you run this knight, I don't know, to this corner, and this knight up here. I don't know. It's weird because Kaemon, this is a very weird end game because Kaemon is so strange in that, and he can just change things just by defending. Over here, looks like that Warforged was killed. This one's now moved in here to engage with Gilbert. If you know that all of the markers are on knights, maybe, again, playing to time is such a weird thing. It's like, maybe it's better to just retreat with everybody and let him try to come in, because unless order marker 3 is on 4th, he's probably not going to get enough attacks. He could try to come in against Krav, but then you could just, like, tie him up elsewhere potentially. I don't know. It's a time, yeah, weird endgame scenarios. I don't know. Endgames are weird either way, because without time, like, you get this weird kiting stuff going on, and people just, like, going for maximum value, and you get these turns that do nothing because they're waiting for an initiative switch or whatever. But in timed games, it's like, okay, retreat. we're gonna do nothing, because if we do something, we run the risk of losing. Okay, looks like Greywaves is going for the attack. Or no, going for a tie down. Trying to tie. Oh, okay. So tying down Kaemon. Preventing, I think, a quick release special attack unless Kaemon disengages. And if Kaemon disengages and takes a wound, then you're lower on points, right? Because that's 30 points per wound. That's a good call. And then Kaemon can come up here and maybe kill these guys. Well, wouldn't kill Marku unless you went both on Marku, but you're like, why would you do that? Kaemon could come here. Interesting, forcing some decisions there. I like it. Does Greywaves attack? Question mark. Are we going to see an attack come through? Yep, he passes the turn. All right, I think that's the right choice, because now Cleon's got to be like, okay, I could come here and I could try for 2 kills, but if I take the wound, then I've got to kill even more just to keep up with points. Points is so dumb but so interesting. Like, endgames are so dumb but so interesting. Because you get these weird situations with points or without points, but they're also fascinating. And I think disengaging is the right choice because you need to go for multiple kills, but he does take the wound, and so he does lose 30 points, but now he gets to potentially kill 2 and get, I don't know, like 40 point return investment, blah, blah, blah. Like, man. This is fascinating. So that's 40-ish points there at least. Plus, so Grey Wave still has a comfortable lead. We'll see how these quick release attacks go in. Gets 1 kill. How's the other one go? Not a second kill. Okay. Which means Cleon has 1 more chance to get the lead. And I think Grey Waves can definitely find a position here to maintain his lead. I think this is Grey Wave's game. Over here, so I'm just very curious at how this is going. Some more retreating that has happened. Dashund missed both attacks. So this is Sheep's last turn with Warforged. Yeah, I think you just stay here and attack. If this last order marker is on 4th, things could get very interesting. Killed a 4th. And that's the turn. But if the 4th can come in here and kill Krav, yep, it's on the 4th. It's a long shot. I mean, it's about a 6-range shot, but it is a ranged shot, which means that, you know, Krav do have their stealth dodge. But if those attacks can go through, this point lead can change really quickly because Sheep has that lead. But Dashund can change that if he kills some Krav. But that's such a risk. And I don't know what the specific points are at. I'm not sure where all the calculations are at right now. I think that's what he needs to win currently. But I don't know, man. Again, fascinating endgame states. All right, so Grey Waves ran away with some knights, kept 1 here. Wait, did he lose another knight? No. So Grey Waves just maneuvered the board a little bit. Oh no, it's down here. Sorry. And tied up Kaemon. So Kaemon is here. He could disengage to, like, I don't know, here-ish. And try to, or here, I guess, and go for 2 knights. But if he takes this wound, I think it's impossible to win. But this is probably the only way that he does win, if he disengages and doesn't take a wound and kills 2 knights. But he takes the wound. He's still going for the 2 kills. Again, I think it's partial points for heroes. Doesn't get that kill, so I think it's like just, I don't think it's even possible at this point. Yep. Blocked wounds, GG's, well played both sides. Again, Kaemon could pull this out in the long run, but Grey Waves played very well through that. I'm really curious how that game went with the Marrden Hounds earlier. All right, so end of game here for Sheep and Dashund. Dashund killed 1 Krav. Misses that attack. 1 more attack on a Krav. If this goes through, I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, that doesn't go through. So I'm pretty sure that means that Sheep wins this game, because that is 200-ish dead points. Over here, 140, 75, plus an almost dead Gilbert. I think that's edge Sheep. Assuming they're doing partial points for heroes, which I'm pretty sure they are. I'm fairly certain that's how these games go, or how Sir H does his games. But anyway, so they're counting. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep us around so that we can get all those, get closure on this. But yeah, so Grey Waves beats Cleon. Loki beat Agent Ward. We didn't see that game. Well, we saw only briefly that game. Agblaha beat Rai Guy. Nomad beat Flash, barely saw that one. Foodsing beats her Heroscape. Oh, that was interesting in seeing how that one went down. But again, you can catch that game on his channel. Doc beat Baron Scapius. Very handily, it looked like. Night of Light beat Morsebane. Didn't see that game at all. Hey! I was looking at those. What the heck? I think they're getting the next round started. So wait, who won there then? Sheep. Yep, so Sheep took it. All right, cool. So good games there. That was fun. I liked going through it like that. I might do this again for the next round. In fact, I think I probably will. So anyway, for this round though, let me know how you thought this went. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you thought it was good, if it's worth replicating in the future. Again, I think I'm gonna do another round of this. So let me know if it's worth continuing for these live games. If you like seeing these multiple games, or if you're like, hey man, just pick one game and get a co-caster because listening to you the whole time stinks. I thought there was more to talk about than I was thinking there would be. I was talking a lot more than I thought I would be the whole time. There wasn't like a whole lot of downtime, but anyway, again, feedback, let me know what you thought of the games and what you thought of this kind of format for this, and let me know how this goes through. Remember what a wonderful world it is that we live in, and for now, this is 10 points under and out.